Hi. Victoria Shakoor here, founder of UMasteryLLC. I hope you and your family is doing well on this rise. Thank you for joining me at this time. So I wanted to come on here and talk about something that is very prevalent right now in our society. And it's been prevalent for, thousands of years. However, and people have talked about this subject in many different ways. And it was downloaded to me. For those of you who follow me, you know that I only do these when I've been nudged to, when there's been a download to come and talk about it. And so one of the things that I'm seeing a lot of, and even through my clients, is this fear. It's fear of failure or fear of success. And right now, during this time, with this energy that has come in on our earth, there's a lot of fear. And this construct is built on fear. It was built from fear, and it's built on fear. Fear of poverty, fear of loss, fear of being alone. All types of fear. And the most basic that most of this fear stems from is the fear of death. That's the underlying core through all the fears. All right, so when we was coming into this physical form, there was appearing to be a severance that occurred. Solar want to be a part of it. She wants to give you a message as well. So when that separation occurred, or illusion of separation occurred from source, there was a trauma that occurred as well. It was sort of, even though we planned it all out and all that, when it actually happened, a trauma occurred, and therefore a fear came about. It was a fear of being alone. It was a fear of death. Now, people say that we fell into this construct. However, when I was looking at it and doing the research of all of this, and when I looked at what it looks like when I did a video about it, when semen is traveling, to the egg, it's not falling, it's traveling like that. So our coming into this avatar to be able to function in this construct, it appears to me, okay, that we didn't fall from anywhere. We traveled, there was an explosion, and we started taking in all the materials that we need to be able to function in this construct, to be physical. So as we started coming through the portal, through the womb, right, we started taking in the energies that we would need, the crystals and different things. I'm not going to go into all of that. And then as we were in the other primordial water, which was part of the primordial mix, and then through the womb, and then through our mother's womb, because the womb is representing this dome, right? And so you're in what we call a sac, right? You're in that primordial water again. And while you're in there, kind of like incubating, you are taking in the covering, this avatar, and all its functionality, all the parts that it's needed. It's almost like something else is putting together the parts for you for this. You're going to need a pump so that you can pump oxygen and blood, and you're going to need this to cleanse it every now and then, because you're going to have to intake or consume other energies for this avatar to work at its peak performance. It's a lot that went into it. It's very meticulous. So You're doing that. And while you're doing that, you are still connected to source. You've never left. Your Merkabah is still with you. Your Merkabah is that light that you have that allow you to be able to come into this construct and jack in to the simulation through your nervous system. Okay? I hope you're following me. I know I'm going kind of fast with this because I'm not trying to be all scientific and all that. You can do the research. So once that was completed, then you were able to do it again. So then you was ready to, the avatar was complete in this what we call baby form. And so then another appearance of being separate occurred again from your mother. So then another trauma occurred when you came out. Another trauma, and then you were afraid. You were afraid. That's the second fear and the second trauma. Now, the thing is, when that happened, I want you to really consider this and think about this. You were covered in your mother's blood. You were covered in your mother's blood. And it was enough. Uh-oh. Let me, I'm going to have to, I'll be right back. Okay. Sorry about that. But she was, when I get on these videos, I don't know, she's just like a child, y'all. You know how when you have a little baby, those of you who have little children, as soon as you get on the phone, they start wanting all your attention. She was fine until I started this. So let me continue. And so you were covered in your mother's blood. Yeah. That was your first baptism. You were in her primordial water. Think about it. And when you came in her primordial water, when you were coming through the portal, you were swimming or like sliding, right? That light seemingly to be sliding or swimming through the womb or through the portal is what I like to call it. So you were swimming through the portal coming in. And then you came into the waters, baptized into that water. And you stayed in that water for 9 months. I like to actually say 10 months. 10 months. Forming, taking all of getting all of the parts that you need to make this avatar so that your avatar can contain your soul, or your soul can contain the avatar. I think it goes like that. Your soul can contain the avatar. Okay? Your breath is the spirit. That's why you breathe. So you are source, that part of source, that source from which all things seen and unseen, known and unknown come from. When you came out, you was covered in your mother's blood. What happened as you got older and start to realize it, before you even got older, even as a baby, a lot of you that grew up in religion, you were told that no. That first birth, that wasn't good enough. That wasn't good enough. You have to now be born again and be covered under a man's blood. And you know that men cannot birth anything. They can create. They can't birth anything. At least not in this dimension we live, and then in this construct. In this construct, everything is based on polarity and opposites, which is almost the same as polarity. So because you started being programmed that your first birth wasn't good enough through your mother, which when you come into this world, your mother is your God. It's like your God. That's the first person that gives you sustenance, even when you come into the womb. When you come into her dome or her earth, right? Because when you look at the word earth, if you just take the H and put it first, you get heart. You was in the heart of her. The heart. You were here. Center. The center of the earth is the earth's heart. And then as a baby, they start taking you through these different religions. And then these different religions told you that if you don't act a certain way, if you don't eat a certain way, if you don't do these practices, if you don't give a certain percentage of your money, 99.999%, you are going someplace horrible, terrible, even more terrifying and horrifying than this place, which has everything. Some of this stuff is pretty horrifying. Even worse. Forever. Never, ever, 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 ever to be forgiven. But your mother forgives you. First person that gave you your sustenance that you need while you were developing. She was the giver of your life or the taker. She had that power. The first sustenance that she gave you from her breast cannot be found anywhere in this construct. They can do their best to duplicate it, but it cannot be found nowhere. And once that part of your feeding development ends, that goes away. Never to be returned. Never to be returned. It actually goes away. Certain things we call ducks come down. Just for you. Just for you. Okay, so your mother, that is your true God. We know that there are many gods, but you revere your mother because of that. And as she was giving this to you, she also was giving you her life. She's giving you her life essence, her life energy. Now, when your father seeded you in her, that was him giving you his essence, his life force. So you have both. Woo, that's so powerful. However, your mother had to do the rest. Your father seeded you, which is very important. Very important. Otherwise, that just won't take place without him. So that part is essential. It's vital. Okay? And this is why when we live in a healthy society, or the healthiest society, the man gives of himself after that outside to take care of her and make sure that she's good, make sure that she's eating healthy, that her attitude is good, her emotional self is good, and all of that. So that's his way of still contributing to your being born, your coming into this construct. It's so profound. And then they dress you up and took you to what we call church or a temple or a mosque or a synagogue or something like that, to start to worship someone else or something else. And some of those some of those things require some really, what I want to say, some really, well, let's just say it's some intense, some intense, horrifying things that you have to do, to go through, to come into union with whatever that is, whatever it is, outside of your mother and your father, outside of source. You follow me? Before you even had a chance to question, what the hell are we doing? What is all of this? What does this mean? See? You didn't get a choice in the matter. You didn't. And this construct created all these different things for you to follow and not think. All those doctrines require you not to think. Don't use your mind. Your mind is still, your consciousness is still connected to source. The trinity of your consciousness is still connected to source. It never left you. But the illusion is that you lost it. But you never did. You just forgot. And you had to forget, because it would be a lot for you to contain if you remembered all of that, and especially all at once. Because some of us start to remember. We can remember like bits and pieces, and we can put it together. You know, I've been able to do that in some things, but not everything. So anyway, so you grew up with now the third fear. Now there's a third fear and a third trauma that's occurring. And this fear and trauma, all of these fear, well, this one, it sticks with you the most because you're functioning in this avatar, and it happened while in this avatar. So that's why it appears to be the most potent. I ain't told you, if you don't do this, if you don't do that, if you don't da da da. When you leave this construct, you going someplace. Does that sound like a benevolent deity to you? Do it. Other practices, if you don't give to the deity, if you don't feed the deity, if you don't worship that deity, they're going to cause all kind of havoc and different things in your life. Does that sound loving? Does it sound benevolent? Do it. They say that pure love is unconditional. But when you consider all these things, they have conditions, don't they? Isn't that a condition? This God that people speak of tells you who they are or who it is. Plain English, in plain language, in all languages. It said, I commit, I'm just paraphrasing right now, but I commit evil. I cause evil, cause death, cause harm, cause whatever. It is me who do all those things. What? Yeah. And you better not, and I'm jealous. Isn't that a low vibration, jealousy? Isn't that considered one of the low vibrations? I did a video about jealousy. Jealousy has a polarity, like everything else. There's good thought jealousy and bad thought jealousy. You have to go. I think I did it on TikTok, if it's not banned. It's a lot of good stuff over there on TikTok, y'all. It's the same handle Tori Loves You Too. on TikTok. I was doing a lot of stuff over there before coming over here to YouTube, and now I'm getting more serious about YouTube. Because there's just been a lot of downloads and a lot of things that I need to share with you guys. So getting back on subject. So you never got a chance to ask a question. And as you got older, you know, the fear got more and more serious. This fear of this deity and all its minions got more serious. It got more deep. It got more intense. And so now we're in school, and you gotta follow those rules. Otherwise, it's gonna happen to you. And now your parents might get in trouble because of you. And then you got older, and if you don't give your money to this unseen government, right? Because you say government, where's the government? Where is it? Who is it? You don't see it, but it has authority over you, just like the unseen God has authority over you. And you got the same thing. You got to give your money, and you better act a certain way. And some, you got to do these certain practices, right? If not, there's punishment waiting for you. And it's the same with this government. You got to give a certain percentage of your money. You got to follow these laws and rules, ordinances and bills, and I forget what the other one is. If not, there's punishment waiting for you. Do you see this? So most people walk around with this cloud of fear over them and within them all the time. All the time. You know, I've been going through what they call the dark night of the soul, or whatever, just going through, I don't know what this is. And I was wiped out of everything. Wiped clean of everything. I got into an accident. A semi hit me, totaled my car. And ever since then, I just been wiped out. I don't have anything, right? Except for my bed. And I do have a roof over my head, and I have a bed to sleep in. Other than that, though, it's been a financial challenge. And it's been very humbling for me. I've been learning a lot. A lot of the downloads come in the middle of the night, and I be too sleepy, and then I kind of forget some of the messages, you know. And so I come on here when I'm nudged, like, hey, you got to go do this, you know, with my divinity. Because I've been in deep meditations lately. I've been grounding a lot lately. And I'm learning to trust the universe, to trust that source that is over this construct. And I do believe we do have a source that is over this construct, but there's something else that's running it. And this, whatever this is, the agreement was that they can run it for a certain amount of time, right? It tells you that in the Bible. And so this deity, you can tell that it's not what a lot of you think that's in religion, and that a lot of you kind of know that is now waking up. You're asking questions. You're becoming aware, or what we call waking up. But I like to say becoming more aware. You're coming into your divinity. And you're like, oh, wait, hold up. That makes no sense. And, oh, I never realized that that's what that actually said, for those of you who actually read. The book tells you. It's not just a book of stories. That book is dimensional. It's a mixture of so many things. The best way that we humans learn is through parables, stories. That's the best way. So anyway, getting back on the subject, I want to say, because I don't want to be all over the place with this, and the downloads are, there's some downloads that's coming. So sometimes they come really, really fast. And I have to be like, slow down, you know. But the thing that I'm learning going through this challenge right now, I want to say challenge right now. There's words that I no longer use, like struggle and hardship, and I don't use those. They feel very heavy, very dense. And it's enough of that. Just being here is enough of that. So, but this challenge that I'm going through right now is teaching me about two things: fear and trust. Fear and trust. And some of you are going through the same challenges. And it's not fun while we're going through it. It's not. And some of you are going through challenges and you're just praying and praying and praying. Pray. Where is that vibration? I don't care how you spell it. It's a vibration. It's the same vibration. So who you praying on? Check in with your heart. So going through this and seeing the anxiety and fears that people are dealing with. I was trying to find a different word. I was attempting to find a different word. You know, listen, the best thing you can do, what I'm learning, is to let go of everything. Let go of everything. You're like, okay, Victoria, easy said than done. I know. It's not an easy thing to do. Every day that I wake up, I have to remind myself that this is a simulation. Now, everybody may not follow that. Also, let me say this too. For those of you who are still in religions, I want you to open your mind for once. Just open your mind and listen. Listen with your heart. If you are triggered by this message, then you're not ready for it yet. You might not be ready for it. You may have to come back and do this again. And then you will come back until you are ready. For those of us who are ready, for those of you who are ready, and for those of us who already know, we don't have to come back here. That's what's been told to me. We don't have to come back. We are divine beings. The scary thing is the exits. How we're going to exit out of this construct, right? You might get shot. You might die in a car accident. You might exit. I didn't mean to say die, but I said it. It's too late. But you might exit somebody stabbing you. You might exit from some horrible disease. It appears that there's no good exit. You know, I was thinking about that one day, like, I'd rather just die in my sleep. But then I was like, but dang, you know, if I'm dreaming, am I stuck in that dream? So y'all think about stuff like that. Believe it or not, your children think about things like that. Yeah, your young ones, they be thinking about stuff like that. Trust me, they think about some deep stuff. There's no good way to exit, and you're not going to get out of it alive that I know of. And if somebody knows about it, they keeping it to themselves. They ain't telling nobody. There's a brother that there's two people that I listen to, and I like them because they're very well researched, and a lot of times they confirm downloads that come to me. That's why I started listening to them. I was guided to them. I truly believe that, because I will get download and share it on one of my platforms, and then I'll go listen to them, and they'll explain it all. Because I don't have time to be doing that deep of a research. I may research some things, do enough to explain myself, but not like in depth like they do. And that's the brother name. His channel is Brother Sanchez TV. I think it is Brother Sanchez TV. Shout out Brother Sanchez. I love that brother. And RKX, ARCHAIX. And shout out to Jason Brashear. I love that brother too. So those are my two favorites. And as far as relationships and just phenomenal, just a phenomenal brother, and his beautiful family is Kevin Wesley, the Rise family. So these are the three main people that I listen to a lot. And it just depends, source might say listen to Jason Brashear today, and then I'll pull up whatever he's talking about, and then it confirms something that came to me. So it's almost like it's almost like the download comes, and I'm like, oh, I get it. And sometimes I'll write it out so that when I come to share it, I can be concise and not all over the place. And then I'll be guided to listen to one of them, and it's like, oh, okay, they went in with it. Thank you. It's a confirmation. So that's where my trust comes from. I've read a lot of books, but however, everything that I talk about doesn't necessarily come from a book. It comes from just being tapped in and the downloads from source. Just being tapped in, the impressions or the visions or just the message, just the promptings, It's hard to explain. Everything spiritual can't be explained, y'all. But they come, and then I come on here and talk about it. And then somebody might confirm that for me by doing the actual research. So that's how that works. So getting back on the subject, I keep digressing, right? But I guess it's important, and somebody needs to hear these things. So when they come like that, it's because somebody needs to hear it. So we never got a chance to ask the question. So we run around with all this fear, right? And then we have that. And then you have the natural just growing up, and depend on your environment, you're coding up things in your subconscious. So you have a conscious mind, which is that mind that lets you know you're walking. These are my hands. This is Victoria. You're who you are, things like that. It's your being conscious of what's happening around you. Your subconscious is you're not consciously knowing what's happening around you. However, your subconscious is taking in bits of trillions of data all around you that you're consciously not aware of. Your subconscious is even aware of the energies around you. It's aware of the sound waves coming out of your mouth when you talk. Your subconscious is constantly gathering data. That's the function of it. That data gets stored in the DNA. Your experiences and what you're experimenting with gets stored in your data. And I talk about, why we came here. So you have to watch one of my other videos when I explain that. And that data is stored in your DNA. All of your thoughts, what you're thinking about and experimenting with and experiencing, is stored in your data. And then because you are still connected to source, you just thought you wasn't, but you're still connected to source. Source is able to take that data and create more simulations, or allow for more beings to come into the construct that has even more data. So that's why sometimes these children that come in, oh, this just came. These children that come in seem to be highly, highly gifted. They can just hear something and play it. A lot of these babies that's coming in now just grasp technology just like that. And that's because they lived in a previous simulation where it was highly technical. Yeah, the technology was pretty high. So, growing up, depending on your environment, your fears are very strong, or it's mild. You don't have, because you grew up with parents who understood certain things, and they were able to nurture you, to nurture your personality and who you are. Now, with a lot of things get passed down. So when you were swimming in, you also, not only were you taking in the crystals, you were taking in the you were coming in with the codes. You were coming also in with the codes of your ancestors. So you was coming in with some of their codes as well, good and bad. And when you were coming in, as you were being incubated, you started to, this is deep. Okay, so you started to filter out certain things as best you could. And it's like, oh no, I don't want that. No, I want this, Because roughly about 90 days before you actually, in the explosion, and you started taking in the materials that you needed, you also started filtering out some things. However, there were some, you couldn't filter out everything. Okay? So there were some, they call that epigenetics. So there were some things that came down that you brought with you from your ancestors, That's why I say you are your ancestors' wildest dream. Got that from one of my loving coaches I love, Oyi-san. And he always says that, and I love that. You are your ancestors' wildest dream, So being, just a sidebar, just being, be thankful with how you look, and you put all that together, you and your ancestors, your grandma from way, way back said, I'm going to give her my eyes. And your granddad said, well, she going to have my lips, and put all that stuff together, Yeah. So this video is about, having these anxieties and these fears, and the root cause of a lot of it. And it's different things. And so a lot of these fears and this anxiety that people are dealing with in this construct is right now, like I said, this construct, you see, you're just bombarded with fear. You've been bombarded with this for a long time. And then when you forgot who you are as divine beings, immortals, Yeah. Uh, you have all these different fears when there's nothing to fear. You know, when I let go, because I said let go, right? When I let go of what's the next worst thing that can happen? Well, I can be homeless. I can be homeless. I have no car, so I don't have a car I can sleep in. I always say, well, worst case scenario, if I become homeless, at least I got my car I can sleep in, and I can use the car to make some money, and come back up. But I absolutely was wiped out of everything, everything. So I don't have that. So what's the worst case scenario? The worst case scenario is I can be homeless out here. I don't know. I have no idea. Somebody said, well, you were chosen one. That's why you have to go through this initiation. This is kind of like walking through the fire, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. See, I've been through things in my life. Just, I just not this intense. So, and I don't know how long it's supposed to last. It's gonna last. I just don't know. I just take it day by day at this point, and I just give thanks every day. And I remind myself that this is a simulation and that I create my own world, and I'm in partnership with the oversoul that is outside of this simulation. And I want to be a good partner. So every day I do what I feel I should be doing to live my purpose, no matter what. And that's why I'm here talking to you now, longer than I've ever talked on YouTube. I normally don't like my videos to go over 30 minutes. It's been like 40 minutes already. But this message is really important because a lot of people is dealing with anxiety that never had anxiety before. And a lot of it has to do with a lot of different things that you're going to have to look at. And I want you to know is you're not alone. And don't attempt to solve all these things by yourself. It's very, very, I'll say it's very difficult to attempt to do it by yourself. I have someone that I talk to that helps me. And listen, any coach that don't have a coach that they talk to, you probably shouldn't be talking to them because they're human and we don't know everything and we go through stuff and we need people that we can talk to so that we can better come back and serve you. With our gifts and everything. Another thing that I realize is that my spiritual gifts has been increased exponentially. And my avatar is learning how to contain that type of energy and that much energy. So these have been the focus of what I've been focusing on, and I've been guided and told that this is the reason why, that I needed to focus on this, on serving you and getting the message out to a lot of you. I'm not here to save the world. I'm here to share, to unlock your codes so that you remember who you are, for those that I am supposed to do that for. Yeah. That being said, thinking about that, let me just take the time to thank all of you that subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. See, I'll celebrate the small stuff too, I celebrate the most tiniest things. Somebody buy me a gift, man, that means the world to me. It does. It really does, whether I need the gift or don't use it, or it's not something that, I would use or want or anything like that. But the fact that they thought about me enough to buy me this gift, it's the thought, the energy behind it for me. Everything is energy, So, yeah, it's just, it means a lot to me. So, also, it's so much stuff being downloaded right now, but let me say this before I'm going to go. There was a time in my life where I would tell people I'm never going to stop smoking weed. the things that I've been through in my life, you know, it was due to a lot of things. I'm starting to write my book about it. Now, 2 books is in my head right now, and I don't know where to start, so I'm just starting where I start. And I'll work it all out once I think the book is completed. It may not be completed till the end of this year or something like that. What was I gonna so yeah, so it's you know, uh I've experienced a lot of things. I've seen a lot of things, experienced a lot of things, right? Uh just nothing like this, and this is for a reason, you know. So if you're going through this as well, you're going through some things, you know, maybe your finances was wiped out. Maybe, you know, you incurred a loss, you know. For me, it was the accident, so the car was taken, which any savings that I had got wiped out because I still continued to pay my bills and all of that. Kept thinking things would get better, you know, and I kept thinking, okay, we'll do this and do that, and it just wasn't working out. Still hasn't. And then I had a transition that had my stepmother transition, whom I love. She was such a loving person, a staunch Christian, but she was just so loving, you know. And we were so happy when my dad married her because she just was a loving soul. So that happened, yeah. And for a long time, I didn't have a phone. I mean, it's just been a lot. So some of you, I'm sharing that with you because some of you are going through something similar, and maybe you feel like it's even worse than that. Maybe some of you is just about to be evicted, homeless. Maybe, you know, you're just like right there. It's about to happen. Some of you are just going through some really, you know, maybe you have a health condition that's eating up everything, and you're doing your best to stay focused. I want you to know you're learning to trust is what it is. Now, my dreams have been off the chain too. It's just been off the charts, and I've been recording them, and I will share them soon. Right now, though, you're learning to trust. You're learning to let go of fear. And you're also learning to accept all possibilities that can happen in your life. All the possibilities. All of it. You know, the possibility that you could become homeless. The possibility that you could go hungry. You know, so I only eat once a day. And my body will naturally fast because it was a practice that I used to do when I was a practicing Muslim. I've been through several religious practices. And so that was one of them. And each thing that I did, I was really absorbed into it. So it's not really much I can't talk about when it comes to different religions. I'm sweating. But you're learning to, this is what letting go really is, family. Letting go is acceptance. That's what it is. It's the same as forgiveness. When you forgive yourself and you forgive others, it means that you wholeheartedly accepted what has occurred, right? And whatever lesson is in that, you learned the lesson, or maybe you didn't get the lesson, or maybe you still just don't know why that happened in your life, why you experienced that, okay? And but you're accepting that happened. And you're like, oh, okay, that happened for this reason, whatever. This is what I learned from it thus far, right? And so during this time in your life, you're learning to accept all the possibilities. And there's infinite possibilities that we have no clue about. We just don't have a clue. The people that have helped me out financially. These were people I least expected that would ever help me. But I had to be humbled and ask for the help. And I was able to take care of some things. It wasn't like anything that I can keep, in my account or anything like that. But I was able to take care of this and do this. Oh God, I can finally, pay that bill, things like that. And so I remain thankful for that. I remain thankful that I still have a roof over my head and a bed to sleep in. Thankful that I'm still eating every day. I haven't starved. You see? So look around you to what you can be thankful for, even if you're thankful that I can still see, I can still walk, I can still talk, I can hear. Because what that means is that there's something that you can do. I can still think. I still got my mind. I can still think, I got a phone, because there was a time for months I was without a phone. And this is recent, you guys. What I'm sharing with you is recent and spilled over into this year, actually, too. And it's already March. I'm like, it's already March. So every day, what am I thankful for? What is it I'm thankful for? I'm thankful that I can write. I'm thankful that I can watch this video and get this message. Because this message is multi-dimensional, believe it or not. When you listen to it again, you're going to hear something else. You listen to it again, you're going, oh, I missed that the second time. You are divine beings. You're in assimilation. Sooner or later, you're going to come to it. Unless you're an NPC, then you're not. And most people know what that is by now. NPC, non-player character. And they're in the assimilation to like everything else, so that it feels real to us organic humans that came in here to experiment with what we know, and to gather data, and that data goes back to source. And when we exit this simulation, we don't know how many more of these it is. They tell us we're in the third dimension. The third. I did a video about why I doubt that. Seriously doubt that. I think we're in like 8, 9, somewhere up, because this one is a pretty challenging one, isn't it? Don't you think? Don't you think this is a pretty challenging dimension? When I think about when we play games, the first one is easy, the second one is easy, the third one it's getting a little challenging, but it's still pretty easy. It's not until you get way up there in them games, it's like, oh, I can't seem to get past level 6 or 7, And this is why a lot of times our ascendant masters is what they call them, tell us that sometimes we got to come back and do it over, just like the game. You gotta do level 7 again. You gotta keep doing it until you figure it out, and you figure it out and you go to level 8, right? That's my thoughts. Listen, I'm gonna go. I welcome your comments. Thank you, those of you who do comment. I welcome that, as long as it's respectful. I welcome it. Thank you. I'll be so thankful when I can go live and really converse with you guys about so many things, so many downloads that come to me that I want to share with you, to assist you with some things that you may be going through. In the meantime, I put up a free webinar on my website, UMasteryLLC.com. It's in the description. You can go there, and that's going to unlock some codes. And a lot of the information you hear may sound familiar on the surface, but listen to it again. And yeah, and then you can also go to the website and just kind of see the services that I offer and things like that. So I appreciate you hanging with me almost an hour. Wow. I've never talked this long. But I appreciate you hanging with me, listening to this video this long. I hope the information was useful to you. You know, hang in there. Wake up every day thankful. Find something to be thankful about. Start to embrace the possibilities, all the possibilities. Because when you do that, then now you're becoming who you are in your essence, and you're allowing Source to show you, or the universe, whatever you want to say, to show you how you are actually okay. You're good no matter what. You're good. So it's not, and listen, it's not the easiest thing to do. I mean, I have to wake up and remind myself of that every day, you know, because every day something is coming due that's very, very important, you know, and I'm like, I don't know where the money is going to come from. I just don't know. I don't know. So, but I trust that it will come, because so far it's come. And it's going to happen where pretty soon, you know, I'll come out. I know that I will come out of this, whatever this initiation is. I've been told this is a initiation. It's kind of like walking through the fire. And so it's teaching me to trust, and it's teaching you the same thing. It's the same thing, because we're all connected. And so especially those of you with special gifts, your spiritual gifts, if you're going through this, that's what it is. It's being able to embrace everything. So if you become homeless, embrace that, okay? That's what it is. That's what it is, you know? I trust that Source has my back, and I'm going to be all right. And you got to really, really feel that throughout your whole system, your soul, to your soul. Like the Oracle said in the Matrix, bones to bones. You got to know that. Bones to bones. Okay? So trust, 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 and know, bones to bones, that you're going to be all right. You're going to make it through. Help is going to come to you. Don't even worry about how, because we just don't have control over that. We just don't. That's what I learned. You know, the help that comes to me, I just never would have thought. I never would have thought it. So you're going to be all right. All right? You're going to be all right. I'm going to go and work on this book and some other things that I'm working on. In the meantime, you can learn more about me by visiting my website. Check out my other social media pages, TikTok and Instagram. I don't do much on Facebook, but I'm on Facebook. I need to get serious about that too. And that's it. And I will let you guys know I've been invited on a few podcasts because my teachings are very different. I'm more like a rebel in the self-help industry, in the fact that I don't teach that you need to fix yourself, you know. And so because the self-help industry has hurt a lot of people, in my opinion, and there's nothing wrong with you. That's the premise I come from. And when you look for, you know, you need to fix yourself, that's a rabbit hole, because your subconscious will always be looking for something to fix, and it will always find something. And then once you fix that, it's something else, and it's something else, and it's just stop, okay? There's nothing wrong with you. You don't need fixing, all right? You just got some things coded up that you have not recognized yet, and you just need a little help in seeing what those things are, so that you move forward and be who you are in your essence. I love you because I'm overflowing with love for myself, and it can only flow over into you. And I will see you guys on the next video, okay? Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. I hope I'm being clear and concise with my messages. And if not, I promise you it will get better the more I do these, and with your input and help as well. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you soon.